Hi, welcome to Edible Home Gardens Resorts and C2C World TV. I'm your host for the show, and we have a guest here, Minerva Garcia. Welcome, Minerva. She is the owner of Wisdom Wealth Builders, and we're going to get her story today and what she does and how she does it. And you're going to really enjoy her. She's such a pleasure. So, welcome aboard, Minerva.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me in your show, Yvonne. I am so excited. It's really an honor for me to join here, especially as we collaborate what you do and what I do. I really am very excited to tell people what we do.
Yeah.
But most importantly for me, a little bit about myself. So as she said, my name is Minerva Garcia, and I'm the founder of Wisdom Wealth Builders. And we're right here in Irvine, California. But you will notice that the platform I use is all over the nation and even in Canada. So I used to be a physical therapist for 30 years. And before that, I actually am an immigrant from the Philippines. And I tell you what, yes. And then, from the Philippines, being a third world country, we are always entrepreneurial, wanting to find ways to earn money. So during my time, I would say during my time, because it has changed as has evolved now, right? During my time, all I learned is that I need to go to a good university, get a good career, and then work hard. And
And
that's
marry a good
exactly what
man?
I.
And marry a good man, maybe?
Well, that was not in the equation. I did not hear about that. All
I'm
I
just
heard is
kidding
like,
as a girl to girl here.
yeah, exactly. So I've really pursued all of that. That really stuck in my head. And coming from the Philippines, you probably would have noticed if you're in the hospitals, there are a lot of Filipino nurses. So I literally went into the healthcare space. I am a physical therapist from one of the top university back home. Well, cherry on top, they said, if you go to America, then that's for sure you're going to be a millionaire. So that's the thinking during that time. Well, I did all that, check, check, check all the box. I came here in the United States. One of my goals is to become the best physical therapist in the industry. I came straight to California and build my career. Well, 30 years out, I just realized that, heck, where was that American dream that they're telling us? I
Yeah.
am experiencing American nightmare with all the debt and then close to retirement. And I don't see a little bit of stars in the horizon of that becoming a millionaire.
Right.
And so I said, there must be something missing that I know when it comes to finances, because that was not instructed to me. So I was asking this question, and guess what, Yvonne? They said that the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of questions you ask. Well, early on in my life, I never asked a question about my career as a physical therapist because I love helping people. That's just me. I get this big heart and helping others, and then also I never knew that there's any other ways to earn income. So whatever time I have left, I'd go work. I opened up a business as a private physical therapist outside of my full-time job, or I do home health physical therapy, but it never really adds up because I it's almost like you get money from Paul to pay Peter when it comes to
Yeah.
time. I would work, but then I will steal the time that I have for my family. So just so to earn money, and then Uncle Sam grabs it again because of the taxes. Isn't that
Oh my God,
crazy?
isn't it the nightmare, right? Vicious circle. Oh my God.
Right. And so 30 years out, I asked that question, is this all there is?
Mhm.
And I am so grateful that I got a friend one day out of the blue, showed up in my life, called me in the middle of the day and then said, hey, Minnie, I would like to show you something. I said, you know what? I'm really very busy, and I'm glad that at that point with the date that she wanted me to be available, that was the only day that opened up for me. So I
Wow.
figured that was the day that I really need, and I attended this class about finances. I said, oh my gosh, this is the other half of that instruction. Yes,
Right.
I'm glad I became certified physical therapist and all this, but then how to keep that money and understanding that money here in the United States is one thing, and they're just so simple. So from then on, I got into the mission. And so I am in a mission right now in telling people about the three philosophies that we run into. We run into this philosophy of multi-handed income, the importance of understanding what that is, the importance of 10%, three rules, three goals when it comes to educating ourselves about money. And then last thing is the self-education. Because I never thought, we never think about self improvement, self education, self growth, especially after getting, 4 years, 6 years degree. You'd think
Right.
in college, after college, you're all set, right? And then you learn
Mhm.
everything and experience. But when I learned that this philosophy, which we now call the new art of living, is actually like, I don't want to blaspheme God, but it's like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It cannot be separated from one another if
Mhm.
you want to reach your goal to become wealthy,
Mhm.
right? Because the multi-handed income literally just explains that if we depend on our job, which is a single-handed income, it'll never take us there. I
Right.
know it for 30 years, right?
Right.
But if you have a multi-handed income, depending on how far you want to go, in 5 years, 10 years, you can hit your dream. Isn't
Mhm.
that crazy?
Yeah.
And then when we earn the money, because we kind of like believe that in the Philippines, if you're in the healthcare, that's you're all set. That's why they think we're millionaires. Was because we earn a lot of money, or so we thought.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or so we thought. But never, it is not really about the money that you bring in, but it's the money that you keep. And I was keeping some of my money and put them in the banks and never really knew the difference between where are the vehicles that I can put it in so that my money will double versus just my money is sitting there and somebody else is tapping into it without me knowing.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is.
And yeah, and then so I learned that this philosophy of 10% three rules, three goals is actually set aside 10% of your gross and then have these three major goals in your life, which is protect your asset, which is the income.
Mhm.
Okay. And then also, which is think about how can you replace your income? Should you stop working? And last but not the least is that three goals is really the last goal is going to be pass it on to your next generation. Instead of passing on debt, you pass on wealth. And
Exactly.
then the main purpose, the main goal for us is to understand the vehicle where we put it in. Where it will compound, where we don't lose money. Well, right? I know we're talking about this not losing money and then have a good size of money. Sometimes we hear outside the noise and say, "Oh, it's okay to lose money. Anyway, just wait and it will grow." Well,
Mhm.
wait during the pandemic. What happened during the pandemic?
No.
Well, a
Everybody.
lot of people are ready to retire, but their income went half. And then because of Uncle Sam needing it, and then they lost it even before Uncle Sam dips into the hand. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
And then we teach people about how to actually now get your money without giving Uncle Sam an extra deal. I
Right.
always say, give to Caesar what is Caesar, give to
Yeah.
God what is God's, right? But you don't have to give Caesar a bonus just because you do not know how to protect their money from those unnecessary taxes. So when people hear about that, man, we show them how they can double their money really quick, how they can keep a lot of their money, and how they can avoid not really avoid how to not pay taxes unnecessarily. And
Right.
then last but not the least, you can save your money, you can have your multi-handed income source. However, if you don't have the discipline, if you don't have the integrity and the authenticity within yourself, then it will just go back to the same vicious cycle. You probably will save and then you gamble them, or like there's nothing. So that's
Sounds
why
like
we say,
dieting, right?
yeah. So
Like when you diet and you go back to the old patterns.
exactly.
Right?
So that's why the third philosophy that we are so obsessed about is the philosophy of self-improvement, self-growth. And so all these three, not only we provide them an avenue where they can start their multi-handed income for as little as $125. Imagine that. And then how to learn all these principles about money. And last but not the least, provide them an environment. Imagine an environment where they would want to become a better version of themselves and keep growing. And so that's why we know that a lot of entrepreneurs, when you ask them, were you the same before when you're huggling and hustling? They said no. Because most of them would even tell you, I read one book a month. I never thought about that. But now I'm so glad that with this new art of living, this is my mission. I would like to tell people about this,
I
right?
love
It's
it.
crazy. And
I
so
love
anyway, so yeah, that's my mission, and I'm so excited because we collaborate. We do understand each other when it comes to building wealth. The first phase is accumulation, and this is when we accumulate, making sure that the rate of return is really good. Because if we put it in the bank, where does our money go? On their fees and whatever, and they
Mm-hmm.
barely give us like 0.01%. Isn't that
That's
wow?
absolutely nuts.
Right, nothing. And then I did not realize why it is important to know that your money is in a vehicle where it's growing a high rate of return. I learned about this rule of 72 that if you put your money where the interest rate is, if you divide 72 by the interest rate where your money is, the answer is going to be the number of years your money will double. Man,
Wow.
I tell you, I was 55 years old and I said, okay, I only have 100,000 in this bank. So my bank is growing at 0.01%. So 7,200 years later, my money will become 200,000. I don't think I can retire in that, right?
Yeah, right.
And then let alone those who are even when they're 29 years old at 10,000, let's say they got a Christmas gift, grandparents all together, put together, live in the bank. 72 years later, that is if the bank gives them 1%. But our banks, we know, they give 0.01%. So we are in a mission to educate families. Man, I tell you, if Starbucks, their philosophy is experience, or Amazon, their philosophy is convenience, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're so obsessed about their philosophy. We are obsessed with our philosophy, which is education on this multi-handed 10%, three rules, three goals, and definitely the self-improvement.
I love it. Now, tell me about some of your programs that you really enjoy sharing with people. Give us some examples.
Yes, and some of the solutions when people want to know, hey, Minnie, how about this? The increased rate of return. Oh, how about this where you don't lose money? Yes, some of the programs that we do is we ask people, most people who are working, they go to work and their company gives them a retirement plan. And guess what is the most common? 401ks,
Mm-hmm.
403bs, right? And or sometimes they want to have a better tax deduction. So their tax preparer tells them, okay, put more money in an IRA or SEP IRA if they're independent
Mm-hmm.
contract or if they have their own business.
Mm-hmm.
But little do they know that that money in there is like putting on a basket with three holes, right? Your money is literally draining down. Some are staying there, right? But some are drained down. What is the holes on that basket of the 401k, 403b? One, your money goes up and down the market because it is in the market. So you really do not know. Number two is that Uncle Sam is looking at that money because you haven't paid taxes on that money. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, let's help wait it until it grows. Then we tell them the taxes. If I'm gonna ask you, Jones, say you needed money from, I mean, Yvonne, say you needed money, and then I am the banker, and you needed, let's say, 500,000,
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm the banker, and I tell you, okay, Yvonne, this is 500,000. What would be your first question to me?
My first question or your first question to me?
Your first question to me. I'm the banker, and I'm
Oh,
giving you 500,000.
when can I get it?
Yeah, when can you get it, and how much interest do I have to pay, right?
Right, right, right,
Right.
right.
What if I tell you, well, why don't you go ahead and use that money? When I need the money, then I'll tell you how much interest you have to pay. Are you going to cut that deal?
That's not a good deal, though. I don't know.
Not a good deal. But
I'm
that's
a little, yeah, a
yeah,
little scared about that one.
yeah. But isn't that interesting? But that's what we do with 401k, 403bs. Because we're
Really?
putting our money out there and we don't even know how much we're going to pay. Our tax is going to go up or going to come down?
Right,
Definitely going to go up.
right.
So now, so we have some programs where we show people and educate people where they can roll over their money, where they have protection of their principal, there is no fees, and that it has a higher rate of return. Some of them, they even stop at 7%, stop at 8%, stop at 9% for sure every year. And then even if the market crashes, they don't lose their money. They keep their money. Isn't that crazy?
That's
And
great.
all, yeah, and all they need to do is park that money for about 10 years, maximum 12 years. Or
Mm.
if they need the money, they can actually pull it out even after 5 years or 7 years. So
Oh,
there's some of those programs that we have, and others we show this what we call, there's what you call the LERP. Have you heard of the LERP, Jones?
no, I
Oh
haven't
my
heard of it.
gosh, I keep calling you Jones because I love Jones.
That's okay.
Yvonne,
That's okay.
right? So Yvonne, there's this called life insurance retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
What? A friend of mine said, "What do you mean life insurance and a retirement plan? Doesn't sound right." I said, "You wouldn't believe it, but those banks, do you know where they put your money? They put your money in a place where they buy a what you call the bank-owned life insurance.
Mm.
They buy a life insurance to their executives, but because they're using your money and everybody else's money in the bank, then they can afford to buy a large insurance. And with that large insurance, that insurance actually, you don't lose money even if the market crashes. And it has a cap and it has a floor.
Mm.
Never lose anything at all. And it does not follow the market, or it does not go up and down the market.
Right, it doesn't go up and down.
So yeah, so those are some of the principles. When they see, here's the thing I love. When our clients get this education, literally light bulbs open. And when they do, they come back to me and said, "Hey, Mini, how can I get this product where actually I can literally save money for my retirement, that I don't have to pay fees, I don't have to pay taxes on it, and I don't lose money?" And
Mm.
then we show them, because we have all of these companies, about 100 plus companies. Some of them you probably know, like Vanguard, Voya, Fidelity, Transamerica, Pacific Life. They said, what are these tall buildings at downtown, right? In every major city. They're
Mhm.
all life insurance companies, because that's why the bank always say your money is safe in our bank because it is FDIC insured. What does that mean? Federal Depository Insurance Company. A lot of people think the government protects our money in the bank. No, it's those life insurance that are protecting our banks,
Mhm.
because that money is invested somewhere where
Mhm.
in a life insurance of somebody else's life, and if they leave the company, they just get the growth tax free.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Does that mean that they're actually being the bank?
Yes, exactly. So remember, your
So
program is pretty much what we're doing is taking out the third party and showing them why, instead of you letting the bank use your money, why don't you do what the banks does to your money?
exactly. And I kind of want to like ease into that topic, because you have the ability, like with a 401k, if they've got a dwindling 401k, or of course it has to be attached to a non-company that they're currently working at, right? But if
Yeah,
you've got a dwindling 401k, why lose your money with fees and not constantly losing your money? Why not take that big monster and move it to like a whole life or something where you can leverage it, right? And be the
e-
bank.
exactly. And then not only that, here's the thing. Here's the bad thing about 401k that a lot of people do not know. Employers cannot be a part of designing the 401k. There is this what we call company ERISA.
Mm.
What they do, they hire a third party who will provide a 401k for that company, because 401ks and these retirement plans are required by the government for every company having 6 employees and above.
That's what
Okay.
I love you. You're so smart.
So here's the thing, whether the 401k sucks or not, they couldn't care less as long as they don't get the fine. So what happens? Whose problem becomes? It's a problem now of the employees. They thought they have a very good 401k. I tell you, I checked my own 401k when I was working as a physical therapist, and I went back to our COO. I mean, I was strong enough to say, he knows that I'm working on finances. I said, "Do you know that our 401k sucks?"
Whoa.
And he's a friend of mine. That's why I get to talk to him, and that's when he explained to me. And he said, "Yeah, Mini, we have no hold on that one, because as an employer, you cannot, it has to be a separate thing."
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so, well, whether the third company, I mean the third party company that they hired to do the 401k for their company does a good job or not, then I'm sad that the employee becomes the victim on this
Yeah.
one. So what we do, that is also another program that we help them. If they're a business, then we can show them, because we monitor how the third party is going to show. Let's say Transamerica will come, and then we'll show, and we educate the family. So then the employees are now able to identify exactly what plan they want, where they're going to invest their money. Or because of that education, there are other programs there, just like what you did. You can create their bank over at Edible Home Resorts, and I'm pretty sure your audience is aware of what you do. But then, yeah, and that's why I love collaborating with you, because we're all about saving people's money.
Exactly. And not only just saving their money, but multiplying it. Because if you take that 401k that could be dwindling and put it in a whole life, for example, and then now you leverage that money, you can be the bank instead of letting the big towers be the bank, right?
Exactly. So here's the thing. It is really, a lot of people think that they could not start their investment
Mm.
because they have a lot of debt. So everybody's clamoring, it's the debt, it's the debt. But I tell you, if we're going to look at three different families, the first family is earning $50,000 a year. The
Mhm.
second family earning about $100,000 a year. And the third family is earning $500,000 a year. Imagine each of them have $1 million mortgage. That's a big debt. It's the number one debt in our country, right? Mortgage. Of those three families, who do you think will be able to pay their debt fastest?
Well, the
The
most.
third one with the 500,000, right?
Mhm.
So is it really the debt that is a problem, or is it the multiplication of income? Because the third family has about 5 times more than the first family.
Mhm.
So people think it's not really much the problem with the debt, but the problem of
Exactly.
multiplying their income.
And Minerva has wonderful products that you can utilize with her, and also taking those products and then duplicating them and adding them and making more money over here. So that
Yes,
not only are you still making money over here, but now you're adding and making money now with, for example, with Edible Home Gardens Resorts, you're going to make money four more ways on it.
correct.
And it's really exciting because this is why we love to collaborate with insurance brokers, because they have the programs and it's a great win-win for everyone, and especially their clients who nowadays people aren't so intimidated about finances like they used to be decades ago. Like we
Yes.
just got to have somebody else take care of it for us, right? Manage
Yeah.
it. But nowadays, like you said, you're educating people. I'm educating people. And when you get that piece of education, you can do more with that education. And you know what? When you think about it, you're never really stuck. You can do something else with that money if you want. You know,
Yes.
you don't have to stay in a rut.
Yes.
Use your God-given skills, your brains, your gifts, and go for it. Don't just sit there and let everything get stagnant. Don't lose your money in a 401k, for example. Just take advantage of what's out there. So, well, we're
You
kind of,
know,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yvonne, I always remember this, a very clear scripture in the Bible. It's in John 10:10. It says that I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. I always remind myself, when I am thinking scarcity, I tell this is not of God's. This is not of God, because the verse before that is actually, it says the thief has come to kill, steal, and destroy.
That's
And that's
right.
exactly where most of us land into, where the enemy kills and steals our ideas,
Yes,
our courage, even to
yes.
go for what our dreams are. But then Christ came that we might have life and have it abundantly. He doesn't want us to just stagnate and be comfortable. It
I
is not about
agree.
being comfortable.
I agree with that 100%. And there's a verse in the Bible that people always get confused and mixed up. The real verse is like this: a people perish for a lack of a
Vision.
vision, but they actually are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
So if you really, really want to know, we need to focus on, like you said, on ourselves and get a little more educated, because we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, but we perish for a lack of vision.
Yes, exactly. And knowledge is out there. I tell you what is the reason why a lot of people are not jumping on opportunities? Because I see opportunities everywhere. You know,
Yeah,
they really come down on myself,
exactly.
and then, but there are reasons why people don't jump into it. Number one is either they're victims of um, people who did not do a good job, like network marketing and all that, right? Because of their bad experience they don't like. And then the second one, they created this delusion that this is all I am going to be,
Yes,
rather than thinking about who they can become.
exactly. Who
And
God
then the
wants them to be.
Yes. And then the third one is that they're so caught up with approval addiction.
Yes.
If I do this, if I do the sales, what will my neighbor, my mother, my family would say about me? And I
Exactly.
remember I run into that because I'm a physical therapist. The time when I discovered this, I'm the director of operations. My role is literally building rehab departments in different hospitals. So in the eyes of everybody, I am pretty much in a high position. Yeah, I do have the title. But then, if I'm just going to be honest, and if all these CEOs in the healthcare space are just going to be honest, they love the title, but their pockets are empty.
Yeah,
And so you just have to stay out from it and then say, what? I did not wake up one day I want to become sales, but woke up one day that what I can become. And so that is
exactly.
why, yes, that is why the self improvement is so always attached to our philosophy in educating people.
I
And the
have
people
to,
who are open minded are the ones that literally are able to see all these different opportunities around there. And these are the people who jump onto the opportunity and then find their freedom in their lives. Find exactly that new art of living, the literally the living that they wanted to be.
I agree with you 100%, but we're coming up on a hard break. And so we are going to have to close up the show. And Minerva, you are such a pleasure. I really enjoy you. We got to have you back on the show again. But before we go, please leave your phone number and a way for people to get a hold of you.
Yes. Oh, get hold of me first and foremost. You can get into my website. It's called Wisdom Wealth Builders dot my, as in my, dot Canva dot site, SITE. And then also you can find me on Calendly / Wisdom Wealth Builders.
And your
And
phone
then
number?
calendly.com / Wisdom Wealth Builders to set up an appointment with me, or you can call me at 949-923-8335. Again, it's 949-923-8335. Yvonne, thank you very much
Yeah,
for
I
this
love you so much. It
opportunity.
was such a pleasure. I can't wait to have you back on. We'll do some catch up and we'll follow up and see how everything's working with you and our collaboration as we move forward. We'll give examples, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much, and you have a
Very
good
welcome.
day. Thank you, Minerva.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.